If this is your first time at the United Palace, make some noise if you've been here before. Thank you for coming uptown, if you're coming from other places. We're gonna have Kristen and Bobby Lopez, the incredible songwriters, coming up soon, but I would not leave you without a musical surprise on Coco Day. So here to perform Remember Me. We have on guitar Jacinta Clusellas. On keys Alex Lacamoire. And because we just can't quit her, the great Mandy Gonzalez.
Don't let it make you cry, for even if I'm far away, I hold you in my heart. I sing a secret song to you each night we are apart. Remember me, though I have to travel far. Remember me, each time you hear a sad guitar.
you know their work in, my God, I could rattle off the names, but Frozen, Frozen 2, the Winnie the Pooh film. They're just some of the greatest songwriters alive, and I'm so thrilled they're here. Please give it up for Kristen, Anderson-Lopez, and Bobby Lopez.
That was just an incredible arrangement, an incredible performance of that song. Wow, what a gift.
That was just a gift. And Mandy Gonzalez.
Mandy Gonzalez.
Like, she makes it sound so easy. And she's like belting ease.
Yeah. That's why we call her the Beast. That was literally her nickname during In the Heights. The Beast.
She's a very beautiful beast, though.
She's a very beautiful beast. She's the beauty and the beast.
She is.
Can you tell us about like the first day on Coco? Tell us a little bit about this journey, because was it basically, listen, you guys have written Frozen, the greatest score ever, do whatever you want? How did it work?
It sure didn't work like that. Actually, we started this job before Frozen came out.
Before Frozen was pitched to us.
We started this before Frozen?
Yeah. It was actually, it was even before it was Coco. It was just Lee Unkrich, the director, came to us and said, I want to do a musical for my next movie, and I've got a bunch of ideas. One of them's in Mexico, one of them's something else, space, and I don't know, there were a couple of other ones.
Oh yeah, and we also pitched him an idea, a planet of aliens where half the people sing everything and half the people hate singing. And trying, like, America right now? And we actually wrote a little 10-minute song about a guy who was really excited about being on a first date. And he sings everything. So he's like, I hope she likes this place when she gets here. No, I wasn't singing to you. Like, and a waitress who doesn't sing, who hates this guy. And then, yeah, it just goes on from there. Anyway, that movie didn't get made. But we ended up getting the job with Lee Unkrich, who is like just a brilliant, brilliant director, because he started as an editor. So everything is about detail, detail, detail. Like, Miguel can't just climb up on and like steal the guitar. Miguel has to climb up and accidentally like hit something and take a minute to be like, oh, you're like, everything is just so carefully storyboarded, and there's just detail in every single second of the movie.
Yeah, and no pressure on your song, but it has to be like the greatest like Mexican folk song. It has to stand alongside existing folk songs. So tell me a bit about the journey of that song. Did it come in mariachi form first? Did it come in ballad form? Like, because it has like several transformations over the course of the film.
Right. They had a first draft of the script when we came in, and there was a song called Remember Me, and it was in those three places. And it was very well thought out for us. And it was that's just a really nice thing when it happens, when the writer of the script really knows how to use music. So they said, is it possible to have the same song function like with the same music and the same lyrics, but maybe a different arrangement? Work as a big showy mariachi kind of like big number, like to say goodbye to the audience, and a lullaby that has all the meaning in the world from the father to the daughter. And we thought maybe, but then there was an idea that maybe we'd change the words, maybe there'd be a missing verse that never got heard. So we explored those ideas.
Yeah, we talked about It's a Small World, which is, it's a small world after all, but actually was created as a prayer for peace. It was a beautiful song written by the Sherman brothers, one of whom had fought, maybe both of them fought in World War II, came back, had been totally traumatized and had PTSD, and the lyrics with this beautiful piano was like, it's a world of laughter, a world of tears, it's a world of hope and a world of fears. There's so much that we share that it's time we're aware. It's a small world after all. And it was this beautiful
Kristen
ballad.
Anderson-Lopez.
But it had so much meaning. And then because you hear it 20,000 times as you're seeing like little animatronic children sing it, it gets turned into the worst thing ever. So we were inspired by that with Remember Me. And the other thing we were really inspired by is that we were working parents with leaving kids in Brooklyn, but having to go to Burbank, and I never would go to Burbank more than 3 days in a row. After 3 days, the kids would punish me. And what we would do is we would leave them with a little song that they could sing, or we would call them at bedtime and we would sing the song together. And so we had a lot of original lullabies. One was about a fuzzy little kitten. Annie, you remember that one? And so we were actually traveling musicians ourselves, having to leave our kids behind and leaving a song to be that hug and that connection at night. So it was a very easy lyric to write when it.
Yeah, I would do this thing after breakfast. Before I had really gotten dressed, I would always sit at the piano and like maybe come up with some music. And
he did write the melody in his boxers, by the way.
And I did that one day, and Kristen had an appointment in New York, so she said, "Can I tape what you just did?" She used her iPhone and made a little voice memo, and then brought it on the subway with her, and then she wrote the lyric on the subway.
And then, that afternoon I came back, I was like, here. And we sat down at the piano and there was Remember Me.
And we had a feeling that we were writing the ballad, we were writing the lullaby, because we wanted the emotion to feel real. But then if you speed up any emotional ballad, it can be pretty fun. And I was...
You're here, there's nothing to fear. That was the Titanic theme song, by the way.
Yeah, and it seems
Disco remix is imminent.
We had done a whole lot of you know the guy in the party who is DJing?
Yeah.
That's based on a real guy named Camilo Lara who knows everything about Mexican music, and he had downloaded to us all this stuff and told us all this Mexican music history and all the different styles, banda, norteño, all this great stuff, and it was just a wonderful period of research. And so then we forgot about all that and just wrote the song we wanted to write, but hopefully it had sunk in somewhere.
And our mutual friend, Jermaine Franco.
Great.
So
who did the score for Encanto?
Actually is the unsung hero of this whole movie, because the other songs that aren't Remember Me are Jermaine Franco and the assistant director Adrian Molina, both Mexican artists, both incredible human beings and people, and I can't amplify them enough because
those songs are amazing.
Their songs are really great, and I wish that the rules allowed every song to win an Oscar, and they just didn't. But they really deserved an Oscar.
I'm really struck by this. Yes.
Luckily, Jermaine did win one this year, thanks to this guy.
Yeah. That's a hell of a journey for a song. I want to jump a little bit out of Coco into the Frozen 2 land. Because there was a minute during Let It Go when we all heard that a lot of times. And I've been cursed out by parents too. I'm sorry for Bruno, I'm not sorry for Bruno. We have literally all been there.
It's a very unique place to be.
I'm curious, in the catalog of tunes you've written for Disney, what was the fastest song you wrote, and what was the one that took the longest?
I would would say that Remember Me was pretty fast. I think we had done all the work.
Boxers to Subway is fast.
Yeah, Boxers to Subway. And that's funny because it was not long after we wrote Let It Go that we wrote Remember Me. It was like the same. It was in a few months.
The same, like 3 months, yeah.
But the longest one, probably Show Yourself.
Show Yourself was the hardest.
Watch a whole documentary on how long it took you to write that.
Good Lord.
It's on Disney Plus. You should watch it. It's very good.
Well, that's because we wrote a whole script for Frozen 2, and it sort of culminated in Elsa goes into the glacier and sings an amazing song where something amazing happens. And it finally came to the moment of like,
well,
what's the amazing thing? What amazing thing happens? And they were like, write the song. So, you know, the fun thing that Lynn can tell you about all of this is that it's not like you show up and the script is all written and you just write the songs that they want you to write. You're actually creating the story over a course of many years and iterations from the beginning. So with Frozen, we had the first version was like, Anna was this perfect princess who was like a bridezilla, and Elsa was this blue, angry woman who with freezing powers and like spiky short hair, and who froze her sister's heart and then went and killed Arendelle and everyone in Arendelle with her snow monsters.
I think your kids would be dressing up as that lady.
And we were like, you could do this version, but it doesn't really sing. And so we, over the course of like 18 months, completely changed all of the stories, all of the characters, and you just work hand in hand, just like a bunch of kids in a playground pretending and going, what if we did this? Okay, that didn't work. What if we did this? Okay, that didn't work. And that's really how Disney movies get made. And it's really cool to have to be in the room where it happens.
Show Yourself story was the third act of Encanto when they were like, and then they sing a song and they all work out their problems and they build a house. Go. And I think my first draft of that came in at about 8 minutes. And this was
They love 8-minute songs.
May of the year that it was supposed to come out in November. So it's finally someone at Disney said to me, if we put all the animators in all the world, we couldn't animate this in time. So we have to figure out what's the 4-minute and 30-second version of this. So if you feel like Abuela didn't apologize enough to Bruno, I swear she did. It was hot for time. Whatever closure you didn't get, hot for time.
We have a similar story for Fixer Upper. Fixer Upper also was like, at this song...
June.
And this was June or July? July, before it came out in November. They were like, in this song, Anna and Kristoff realize that they're falling in love, but also she has to faint and be very sick because also her heart, and you also have to find out that it's like the ticking clock. Go, write the song.
It has to have the theme of the movie and it has to be fun.
And the lesson. And so we wrote it and they had to animate it in 1 week, and that is why all the trolls have the exact same facial expression. They all are just like,
This is fast. And then also on Frozen, you talked about it being a family affair, but those were your kids singing at the beginning of the movie, right?
yes. We have 2 girls that really, raising 2 girls, highly influenced taking on Frozen. We have a Elsa and an Anna, and Elsa's at home doing her essay for Yale, early decision right now. But our Anna's up there with her best friend. And she was a baby troll who said, by the way, I don't see no ring. And Katie, who's at home, was the singing voice for Do You Want to Build a Snowman? And don't think I'm not like, use that with colleges. Use it.
Write that college essay about that.
She's like, no, Mom, that's so embarrassing.
That is cringe AF.
By the way, this is not beer that we're drinking.
Water. We're not like chugging 40s and talking Disney tunes. It's actually water.
This is, it says liquid death.
Which is another cut Frozen song.
It's actually very appropriate for the movie we saw tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where were your kids in Coco? They were not involved in this one, but were they around? Did they let you? I guess I'm asking, do you use your kids as beta testers the same way I do?
Oh, totally. They're our first audience of everything, and they were our first audience for WandaVision. They're our first audience for we have a show coming out. This is my shameless
I
pitch.
all along is also these guys. Anything you got stuck in your head in the past 10 years?
Yeah, it was kind of like, if they wanted to hear it again, then we knew that it would be good, but if they're kind of like, if they kind of wandered off and started playing with blocks, then it was like, well, maybe we should try again.
No, I don't think that song about. There was a moment where the troll song was about walking in someone else's shoes, and it was all these jokes about foot issues, of like athlete's foot and foot fungus and plantar fasciitis, and like we couldn't get them to sit still for that one. So, we were like, it's not this one.
My oldest son, Sebastian, was born 2 weeks before Hamilton rehearsals, and I was in the show, so I basically didn't tuck him in the whole first year, and the net result of that, and what I didn't know, was that my wife was singing him to sleep with Dear Theodosia every night. Oh. Yes, that's very nice. But when I play Dear Theodosia, they're like, you don't sing Dear Theodosia, Mom wrote Dear Theodosia. It sounds wrong when you sing it. So that's what, I just see it in this movie. It just belongs, that's Vanessa's tune.
Well, it's like kids change your relationship to music and to art, right? It deepens everything.
Yeah, I find that our careers also, like Frozen was when we had very little girls that we were raising, and I was dealing with the princess problem. Some of you guys may understand, where you're like, she wants to be bride Ariel for Halloween, and she's 4. How do we feel about the politics of this?
Yeah, I want to be the bride.
I want to be the bride. I want a veil. And so I got the chance to try and write princesses who redefine true love for each other. Expand the definition of true love. That sometimes you shouldn't marry a man you just met. And then there was Coco, that was about leaving your children and the importance of family. And then there was, like, when my kids started liking Marvel, we got to do this Marvel job. And now we're writing adult stuff for Hulu. That's gonna come out in February, where about like finding your voice and doing naughty things in New York in 1999.
The first time I watched this film, who's seen Coco for the first time today? Make some noise. The first time I saw this film, my grandmother had passed away like a few months before, and I watched it with Sebastian, who was like 3, and the abuelita version of Coco looked so much like her that I was a snot machine. And my 3-year-old touched my arm and said, "Daddy, it's just a movie." I mean, talk to us a little bit about sort of the theme of this, about being remembered and how important family is in terms of how we remember our family, because I think that's the thing that resonates with me the most.
I think the most beautiful thing about that holiday is that it's a family reunion. In essence, it's not about death, it's not Halloween, it's not about dressing up, it's about, it really is a family reunion with your departed loved ones. And as we wrote it, people passed away in our family. My grandmother passed away, and my mom passed away the year that Coco came out. And there was something, we're not Mexican, but we did the holiday that year, and
we have been doing it every year ever since Coco, because it is this wonderful way to put the pictures up on, like, make an ofrenda put the pictures up, talk about, like, teach your kids about, oh, my grandmother, you know, his grandmother's story is incredible. She came to America on, like, one of the last boats out of the Philippines and had his father on the boat in Seattle Bay. And telling the story of, like, just telling these amazing stories and passing them on. It's a great way to have a special night that you do that. So we're big believers in Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, and there's something comforting about the idea that your memory is in some way them living on. Like, I think that's a beautiful idea, and something I was glad to be beautiful.
If this movie is to be believed, you know, the songs you have left us and generations of kids is just, you guys are gonna have palaces in the next life, and
But yours is gonna be bigger.
I want to thank you guys for being here, for coming up to Washington Heights. I want to thank you for so much incredible music and just so many incredible memories that we make with our kids and our families, including today. So please,